And everybody will go ahead and call the meeting to order. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Elkhart Promise. Every student is known by name, challenged and supported by highly effective staff, and in partnership with the community will graduate career, college ready, and life ready.
At the end of the meeting, you'll have an opportunity to speak. You just need to fill out a form and give it to Dawn. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. For each agenda item, I will ask for questions and comments from the audience. So up first, we have the consent items. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Supplies for our automotive technology and diesel, and that's from Chempress. And if anybody has a question about that, there's a breakdown of all of the items. And then we have $1,000 from Legacy Heating given to the Elkhart cheerleading team. And then we have another $1,000 from Monty's Best Stone Tire and Service, and that will go towards the cheer program also. I think that's all I have. But I want to say that Monty and Legacy Heat do a tremendous amount of donations to all of our programs, and that hats and gloves for children, and it's just endless how much both the Monty at Cassopolis Street and the Legacy Heating in here do for our schools. So that's wonderful.
Is there any other discussion from the board?
Yeah, I have one comment. When it comes to grants, we have this piece of paper right here. Anyhow, some of us on the board are a little older than others. It's really hard to read, but if we turned it the other way and printed it out, it might have larger print. That didn't work? Anyhow, very tough to read.
Any other discussion from the board? Any questions or comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we have a demographic and feasibility study update.
So again, this is the standing item that we've put on here to update everyone about where we are regarding this. This week is the second week of the survey. And so again, community members are encouraged to go to the Elkhart Community Schools website. And there is a blue screen that pops up with information about the surveys and a link to all of those surveys. We have canvassed throughout the community in various ways to get that out. The board received an update from Brenda about how that was being conducted. Today, all students in grades 7 through 12 during their advisory period will have an icon on their iPad to take the student surveys. So that will be a dedicated time, and everyone will be asked to do that during that time this morning.
Is there any discussion from the board? Is there any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, moving right along to new business. Kevin?
Good morning. Morning. And working with Chuck at Transportation, we worked through the bus purchase. This is with the budget 2022 purchases. And the business office is recommending purchase of buses from Kerwin Bus Sales as reflected in the materials.
Oh, sorry, Kevin.
That's okay. So, Madam President, I would need a motion to approve the bus purchase.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
All right. I'm going to second it before any of you do. Okay.
Is there
Enthusiasm.
any discussion?
The good news is we've talked about that our fleet is larger than we need at this point, and Kerwin was willing to work with us. We're buying 10 buses, but we're selling them 20, so we're able to shrink it and stuff. So that's good news. They're willing to take them right away. So
Hi, Kevin.
good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
I apologize.
Just in time to vote.
Is there any questions or comments from the audience?
Bus purchase.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
John?
Good morning, each and everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'd like to sit there and close as far as, giving the pool bids, submitted to us. We, sent it out to 6 different people, 6 different companies, and only one responded, Sears, that we have been using since 2016. And, their response, which I think was the most responsive and the best we've, given this type of, climate that we have as far as the volatility in the market. I'd like to propose that we go forward with that. As far as last year's price, I think the difference that we have as far as for the diesel is now just gone up 0.667 from where it was last year, and where we were last year as compared to this year. The way it's fluctuating, I think that this is a very good price that we can offer, and I think that's one that we can definitely work with. Moses, a pretty good luck. Any questions about that I can answer?
Is there any discussion from the board? Is there any
Yeah.
question? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question. How many bids went out?
6.
6 and no replies from
We had
5?
replies, 6 companies, one responded, they could not provide, who's reading this verbatim, I'm sorry, sir. They could not guarantee the transportation throughout the year. They said it was gonna be, they weren't sure if they could provide it, but the continuous fuel that we were gonna need.
Okay.
And 2 asked questions that did not fit the criteria of what we expect from as far as for our fuel. We have a cetane level that what it does is it sits there and it makes our buses run much cleaner, and just unlike what the majority of these other companies have got. And then 2 of the companies decided not to contact us at all.
Okay.
So that's what we have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other discussion from the board? Any questions or comments from the audience? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Shepherd?
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Elkhart High School has recommended a new course, Advanced Placement Pre-Calculus, where students would be able to sign up for this course and get high school AP credit, and or they could sign up for dual credit and get Ivy Tech college credit at the same time. This course gives honor students who are interested in careers such as engineering or other science fields an ability to take an advanced mathematics course. And it also will be a nice challenge for our gifted, talented students. So we're very happy to present this new course to you this morning.
Is there any discussion from the board? Any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, thank you, Dr. Shepherd.
Thank you.
You're zipping right along. In terms of the financial report for November, Business Department would like to share that our cash balance has improved since last November. It sits at $32,966,588.72. As we look at education fund and operations fund, they are both ahead at the same point in time last year. So good news. I would also like to share that the DLGF's working our budget. You know, we talk about this a lot through the budget process. They are waiting on our final amortization from common school loan. We just closed, and Jason's department submitted all the information this week. So once I get a payment schedule, we'll get our final budget. The positive was, as you recall, I had a separate resolution to do a levy appeal for increased fuel prices, increased bus prices, increased labor costs for bus drivers and so forth. We were successful in that, almost 1.2 million. That's a permanent increase to our levy. Levy meaning the amount of money that we're able to raise. It's about a 3-cent tax rate. So very positive news in terms of the budget. So just wanted to share that.
Is there
any questions? I'll zip on. Are there any questions related to financial report?
Is there any questions or comments from the audience?
Okay, and then finally for me is the monthly insurance report. As you can see, November was a little heavier month than some of the months earlier. It was about 50,000 higher than last November. On a year-to-date basis, however, we're still 564,000 to the good compared to last year. So that concludes my comments on insurance.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody from the audience? Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly? Karen, sorry.
Good morning. I wanted to pop by and give you some great news in case you're not hearing it on the street, some holly jolly news. You have some very happy teaching staff this week. They're looking forward to Friday's payday because thanks to you and courtesy of lots of people on your team, we had a great bargaining season. And so retroactive pay comes out Friday. Their new salary pay rate comes out Friday. In addition, last school board meeting, you approved the premium holiday so that insurance premiums aren't deducted either this Friday. And then on top of that, to make it even more of a merry payday, we have the teacher appreciation grant, which is money that comes from the state of Indiana with the intent to retain teaching staff from year to year. That also gets paid out on Friday. But I would be remiss if I did not point out, I'm sure you already know that, what I just described is an enormous undertaking for people in this building. From the business office, Chris Romanetz is an unsung hero because she has to organize all of that. Maggie Lozano spent hours upon hours on weekends and evenings going through making sure that each staff member got the appropriate salary adjustment because that was very closely tied to educational attainment changes that maybe occurred. So I can't even tell you how many hours she spent. And Gloria, Cliff, all of them had a very hands-on approach to having kind of processing all that. But even if someone didn't touch it directly, I know lots of people in this building are cheerleaders and support for the people that had to do an awful lot of work. Even the mailroom, they had to mail out contracts, all them back. We had someone printing the new lavender contract books. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So last week, Elkhart Teachers Association expressed their appreciation to this building staff. But I wanted to make sure to do that more publicly as well because processing 800 teacher contracts is not an easy job. And then managing to get all of that stuff paid out this Friday is enormous. And that's on top, of course, of all the classified folks that are looking forward to their increase as well. So Merry Christmas to everyone. And I thank you for all of the great things you did this fall to help us get our salary more in line with other community districts. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
for your
Merry
hard work.
Christmas.
Mayor Rod and Regina.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
Morning. I'm here addressing you as not Mayor Rod Robertson, but Rod Robertson. I want to thank the administration, the board, for their help in the services for my brother Garvin. It was a time in which we all came together in the right place. Couldn't have thought of a better place to hold it than Northside Gym, and the community really showed their support. All throughout our grieving process, we got words of comfort and condolences from the administration, people that are in this room, staff, the community, in broad ways that you wouldn't even imagine. Everyone from the governor to others that said condolences to us. And we wanted to make sure that in an effort to support what Garvin felt the most connected to, we wanted to make sure that in lieu of flowers, donations would come to the Elkhart Community Schools. For those of you who don't know, my grandmother, my mother, aunts and uncles all taught, and most of them taught in Elkhart Community Schools. And so our connection runs long and deep. One of the condolences that we received, we thought it was appropriate for you to hear.
Good morning, everybody. We left me a minute and 38 seconds.
we can give you some extra time. We'll give you extra time.
I didn't know my husband. I should not. How are you?
Can you add us a little bit more time?
Okay, so we really thought it appropriate for us to read this to you because it kind of entails Garvin. Okay, Remembering Garvin Robertson from Bruce Rogers. I first met Garvin Robertson in Jack Ryden's drafting class the summer before the sophomore year. Our class of a dozen moved freely around the room working on assignments, visiting the drafting boards of fellow students. This relaxed atmosphere allowed our conversations about school and personal experiences during the morning-long sessions. Garvin related easily, naturally with all his classmates, providing a prelude to our bonding year at the sophomore division. His humor entertained all, including Mr. Rivers. Garvin and I couldn't have been more different. He was playing on the elite American Legion baseball team while I played for the Cleveland Township Senior League. Garvin would go on and play at Rice Field and Northside Gym. The YMCA, Church League, and my grassy lot were my fields of dreams. Garvin's gregarious and charming nature endeared him to all. His infectious smile, social skills, broad gestures, and resonant voice allowed him to move freely among all social groups. I was introverted and introspect. It was years before our paths would cross again. Garvin had gotten his teaching degree, and we both taught in the Elkhart school system. We always exchanged hellos and chats at school, teacher gatherings, or curriculum meetings. 20 years ago, I was delighted to see Garvin's name on the roster of a graduate class Socratic seminar I taught as an adjunct professor at IUSB. His presence would add humor and help create an informal, relaxed atmosphere. Garvin excelled in one particular part of the seminar most teachers struggled with, the ability to suspend personal opinions and consider a different point of view. He possessed a natural openness and curiosity regarding ideas discussed in class. He asked questions. My students were required to write reflections about each class session and seminar they led with students and wrote responses. Garvin's reflections were always insightful and genuine. This led me to know him on a more personal level. I always read his reflections first. A few years later, Garvin left Elkhart schools to work at Basher Home. I visited with him at Steak and Shake over lunch one day. He expressed concern for the troubled teenagers he worked with and frustrated he couldn't do more. There was sadness and compassion in his eyes and voice and body language. This facet of Garvin was new to me. I remember the first class of 70 breakfasts I attended, which is something that Garvin did on a regular basis. We introduced ourselves and the junior highs we attended. After finishing my introduction, before I could sit down, Garvin's booming baritone voice echoed in the room. This man is the best teacher I ever had. Nobody else in the room fully understood the power and depth of that gesture. Garvin lived his high school years as a star athlete and class officer, navigating in and out various social groups. I lived on the fringe of Elkhart High School society. This welcome from Garvin helped make me feel more a part. As a teacher, there are no greater words than the ones Garvin spoke. He had a natural, genuine way of making those around him feel valued, recognized, important. I last saw Garvin at December class breakfast 2 years ago. He arrived late at Perkins, sitting at the far side of our long table. I needed to leave early that morning and walk down the line to say goodbye to my friend. After a pat on the back and quick handshake, I turned to go. But before I could leave, he turned to the person on his left and said, "This man is the best teacher I ever had." Every teacher needs a student like Garvin Robertson. Excuse me. Every student needs a classmate like Garvin Robertson. Every person needs a friend like Garvin Robertson. Goodbye, friend. Deep sigh. Thanks for all you left us. Thank you. As Rod said, we asked that people give donations to the Elkhart High School Athletic Department and also the Humane Society of Elkhart County. These came to us just at the end of his funeral, and we wanted to give these to you. We do know that there are several people that have already sent donations to the school system. So we would just want to say thank you. Can I get this to you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the board want to make any comments before we move on?
I didn't mean to make it a bummer.
You know what are people like here, this is Christmas, and we're supposed to promote generosity and charity and the beauty of giving to others. So like you left that as a reminder of like, we have this much time on earth, and what do you want to leave behind? Your legacy is only as good as the last person that remembers you. So what you just said right there allows us to leave knowing that we need to do, like have that gregarious attitude, be a guardian, be somebody that people really aspire to know. And I mean, I heard tremendous stories about him, and I just sort of giggle because I'm like, oh, you were in his shadow for a while.
No, all my life.
All your life.
All my life.
But it's wonderful. I mean, reading that reminds us too, and coming from a man that grew up also makes it even more wonderful. So thank you for bringing actual joy to us. Yeah, you're welcome. Honey.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and it was our honor to support you guys through your loss.
Absolutely.
Are you asking for board?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that taught me how to be a better collaborator. I came on the board with a lot of grandiose ideas of how much you can change something that's this big. And I learned that it takes incremental steps. It takes finding our common ground, trying to work from there. And I learned that building trust is super hard. And I think that's probably the number one thing that I would like to encourage all of you who are still working hard to make the district that formed my entire family, formed us. Since my dad's class was in 1946. My husband and I graduating in 1974. My daughter's graduating in 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006, and 2007. My grandchildren attending this district. We believe in this district. We believe in how Elkhart can come together to make everything so much better. I hope that I've done more good than I've done harm. I hope that you know that I will always be supporting this district. I will always be supporting your work, your hard work, and it's I want to thank Dr. Tallheimer for coming in at a time that our district was really needing a steady hand. And I want to thank you for that. There's been a lot of things that you've done that has been difficult. You probably were a superintendent in these 4 years of the most difficult times in the last several decades. And you've done that with great heart integrity. You've done that with just such focus on what needed to be done. You did the things that got us in compliance in so many areas. Worked so hard to build back trust after we had merged high schools. That was hard. There was a lot of hard things. And then trying to manage that throughout the pandemic. I just want you to know that it's been my pleasure and my honor to work with you. And it's been my pleasure and honor to work with all of you. And I just want you guys to remember that on our latest journal, it talks about the pillars of trust. And I just hope that we can build those pillars of trust within ourselves, within our leadership team, and within our community. Because without that, we don't have what we need to go forward. And this district can go forward in great, great ways. And I'm very, very proud of the work that you've done. I'm very proud of everyone here. And just want to say thank you. And I'm going to be cheering for you. And don't forget, there's always room on the nice list for everyone.
Dr. Dormer, do you have anything?
I asked if John would mind kind of updating us where we are in terms of transportation and coming off of last week. If you could.
Can you speak up, John, because you're so
Sure.
quiet, I'm like coming.
No, not a problem.
Yes, that's
Good,
better,
okay.
thank you.
Got in today, we have 6 people that are out. Comparatively, we had 15, 16 out last week. We're good. We're doing well, and I anticipate we're gonna be that way. Have a lot of sick people. Have a lot of sick people coming in right now because they do not want to monitor. They've just left because they were unhappy with something. That's not true at all. Got some very sick people, and this weekend was good. I'm looking forward to this next 2 weeks that we're going to have. Let them, as far as get through any ailments that they're dealing with. If you think of the vast majority, one of these bus drivers that are on that bus, you have 50, 60 kids that are coming walking by them and walking out through them every single day. They're right at the forefront of where all the.
Is it a bus or is it a petri dish?
Well, they refer to it as a petri dish, and then plus many other things. I have bus drivers that are going to mask, and that's their choice. I have bus drivers that are masked right now just because of anticipation they don't want to, in case they have any small type of little ailment, they didn't want to be known as they had just called out, called it sick. So I feel very comfortable. I feel very, very strong about my people, and I know that they are doing everything they possibly can, and I couldn't be prouder. Really couldn't be prouder. So.
John, can you explain a little bit about the process of how we came to the decision to close the school that day and what you guys go through to try to get the routes covered? Because there were a lot of questions and concerns about that. So if you can explain this.
A lot, yes, I'll be more than happy to. A lot of this is just having a very good idea of what our capabilities are at this time. When we had last week, when we called, it was a tough call. Haven't done it. Years that I've been here, and this was not easy for that to be done. But at the same time, I rely upon my assistant supervisors to go ahead and be able to help make that call, along with my dispatchers as well too. We would have been out 8 different routes. Most of those routes are going to be the bigger routes, the ones that are so spread out for the pusher buses, as far as going out into Bristol and et cetera. For us to be able to go ahead and be able to fill that and send everybody out and be able to get them in school in time, it wasn't feasible at that time. And that's hard to say. At the same time, I know that in my heart, it was one of the calls that needed to be made, and I hope it doesn't ever happen again. We work miracles every single day. I'm going to tell you right now, we have people that will go ahead and go out of their way to go ahead and try to absorb another small part of the route. But when you have the kind of sickness that we had last week, along with the amount of people without routes we would not have had the opportunity to be able to sit there and fill, you're in a perfect storm. And we accept that. That doesn't ever happen again. We're not alone, but that has nothing to do with Elkhart Community Schools. We sit by ourselves, we'll do the best we can, and we continue to provide the best and safe transportation for our students every single day.
Can you also share who, if you have bus drivers out, who steps in to fill some of those routes?
If we have bus drivers that are out, you have each and every one of we have all my routers. So I have 4 routers, well, I have 3 routers, and plus a supervisor over the routers. All 4 of them will go out. Lori, another one of my supervisors, is not able to anymore because of a hand injury. And then we're going to have Clay, my dispatcher. You're going to have Trish, who's one of my trainers as well, another trainer, and then myself. So we absorb everybody. The only people that will stay in are the ones that do not have a CDL. So we have 2 new bus drivers that are coming in this week. I'm looking forward to it. One has history here. The other one was a bus helper that was here. She went and got her CDL, came back to us, and but we have one that's leaving. She's a single mom that needs to sit there and expand her ability to be able to go ahead and make more money. But it's one of the hardest decisions she's ever made because she's going to miss her kids immensely. When you have the ability every single day to go ahead and say good morning to these kids and you know that you are one of the brightest stars that they've had from a home life that isn't one of the best, and then you're also the last person people sit there and say goodbye to them before they go to that home. That is a very hard thing to do. They are a teacher in their own right in many respects, and they're like a confidant to a lot of these students that are coming on these buses. And so we edge a little bit forward and kick back a little bit, but we've still been able to make it each and every day. For the most part.
I was thinking of you last week. I dropped into a new substitute orientation. My daughter was going through it, and there were some substitutes there, and I asked if anyone had their CDL. Figuring, why not? Unfortunately, none of them did. But I was thinking of you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes we have parents who are not happy because trying to get there as quickly as we possibly can. But I've already had 4 parents that converted that come in and interview with us as far as the bus driving position. And we do that. We do that very constructively.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times we had no idea we would love to come to the talk. So we're looking forward to that. And we're going to keep on plugging along. That's our ability.
Well, thank you for the update, John.
Oh,
I wanted to make sure the community knew what the process was, that our transportation department is doing everything we can to get our kids to school safe, and that this was not an easy decision that we made. So thank you for sharing that
Thank you. I
update.
appreciate that. Yeah. Any other questions, Paul?
Is there any?
Thanks for driving on the regular. 'cause
Oh,
I-
no, that's fine. No, I mean,
I see you and I'm like, holy wow. You're spending extra hours then to get the rest of your real job done, and it's admirable that you guys just do that and step in and do what you need to do.
and we will continue to do that every single day, every day, whatever it takes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I think everybody, tends to fail to recognize the fact that a good chunk of what we are in is not only the educational business, but we're in the logistics business, okay? And the logistics of bringing, students to school every day and also taking them home safely every day is a huge undertaking and stuff like that. And I think people fail to recognize the amount of work and effort that goes into keeping the logistics of this school corporation running on like a clock, so to speak. So anyhow, I want to commend you, for doing a good job and, under some very tough circumstances.
I will send that to all of my drivers, so I appreciate that.
Thank you,
so
John.
much. Thank you.
Dr. Tallman, do you have anything?
Just two final things. Personally, since this is the last official meeting for Babette and Rocky, I would like to thank both of you for your service, always being so child-centered, being supportive of the things that we've been trying to do as a district, and at a time of gratitude as we look at the holidays and the end of the year. I am thankful that our paths have crossed and that you've served on the Elkhart School Board. So thank you both very much. And then secondly, just wish everyone a safe holiday break and the best of holiday season.
Is there anything else from the board?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Of course, Rocky.
It's been an interesting 4 years. It's been my great pleasure to serve our community schools. Like Babette, I'm a generational person of the schools. My parents, my children, myself, my brothers and sisters, our whole family has been educated by the Elkhart Community Schools. When I think of the school board, I think of the greater good. Sometimes we have to make extremely difficult decisions. Decisions personally we may not agree with. I hate paying taxes. But for the greater good of our community and our students, I have supported 2 referendums that unfortunately failed. And I will support them in the future. Because there are people before I came that paid the taxes, that gave me the education, that set me up for success in my life. And these buildings that we support are the future of not only our community, but our country. And every decision that is made by the board should be made with those kids in mind and the greater good. And sometimes that means setting aside your personal feelings and doing what is best for them. So I encourage my fellow board members, every time something comes up, things you may not personally agree with, if it is in the greater good, support the kids. Dr. Tallheimer, it has been a great pleasure to serve with you, as well as the rest of the board. I've grown to know and love each one of you in a special way, and I wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Thank you.
I really appreciate both of you. Like, Babette and I sometimes could do oil and water, but I could not admire you more. You bring out the very best and challenge us in ways that I didn't really like to be challenged, but appreciated after I could sit back and think about it, and it just made me a better board member. Rocky, you're like a grandpa. No, you have like in that time, yeah, you are.
Just not her grandpa, I'm not quite that.
But no, I really, like, you guys have no idea how many conversations he and I have had where he's really had to challenge me to take it down about 20 notches and take a breath and maybe like not hang up on me, but let to say goodbye and call me back a little bit later. But it's been like hearing, and it's been difficult. It's difficult sometimes when you, like as an adult, are challenged by other adult peers and you have to really take a look inside your soul. So both of you did that, and it will challenge me to do better for the greater good. And I appreciate and value both of you. I'm not thrilled that neither one of you ran again, but I will move past that. I will. But thank you for
Thank you
being
for running
so
again.
amazing.
Is there any other comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure serving with both of you. You each serve a different role for me as a board member. When I came on and what I do in my other life is I counsel people a lot, whether it's legal or whatever. And Rocky, there were many times when that role was reversed, when I would call you and ask you, what's your opinion, what's your take, what's your understanding on this? And the nice thing that I never had to question where your thought process was coming from. Like you said, it was coming from a place of what is in the best interest for the district, but most importantly, for the students. And you taught me that as long as we make decisions with those guidelines, the decisions, although hard on the surface, are really easy decisions. So I thank you for instilling that type of wisdom onto me when I was in this position early on. Babette, you were my barometer for the heart. There were many times I made a decision that was strictly financial, strictly by the numbers, or strictly business. And I would call you and say, now, give me the real story. Bring me back to earth, because this is my position at this point. I need to understand the background. I need to understand it from a person with your compassion. And those calls sometimes are very long. But at the end of the day, when they were over, I felt that, your wisdom, your input, your compassion, your heart was needed, and I'm very grateful for that from you. So you will be missed, both of you. There's you're not going to go far, and you will still, still have your phone number. So
Yeah.
those calls
You
will.
may be blonde.
Well, I know where you work as well, so I can stop by. So yeah, thank you for your service. I think you guys have done great things in the 4 years, and the legacy will continue. So thank you very much.
Thank you for those words.
I'd like to thank both of you for your service to the school corporation and to the greater community here, and also to our students and parents. I think everything's really, been said, but one thing I'd like to add to what everybody has said was that, Babette's passion for the school corporation and stuff like that. Most of you may recognize that Babette and I are probably like bookends, almost. And then, but her passion for, improving the school corporation is undeniable and stuff like that. And I've always appreciated that. Anyhow, we wish you well. And also, I'm impressed with the Christmas lights on the outside of the building on County Road 3.
I'm gonna try not to get, I'm already emotional. I'm so blessed to work with all of you. It's been a privilege to work with you, Babette, and you, Rocky. This job is about service. It's about our kids. It's about our community. And you both are, I can't even think of the right word. We're blessed to have passionate people who are so dedicated and invested in this community, who are willing to serve in this capacity. It's not easy. I think we've all learned that along the way. And I just want to thank you for your friendship, your guidance, and both of your passion. We all have different gifts on this board. I think we've talked about that before. And your gifts are so appreciated and so needed. And I'm truly going to miss both of you. And I hope, and I know you will, but I hope that you stay involved, whether it's directly with the district or indirectly, because your voices are needed. And so I just want to say thank you. It's been a privilege.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'll start with you, Babette. I mirror what everybody said about your passion and your emotion. I know that sometimes that makes you feel isolated and like you're on an island by yourself. But I just want you to know that that was appreciated. It was needed. It brought balance to the board. It made the people you spoke up for, gave them a voice. And I want you to know, never silence that part of you, because the world needs that more than anything right now. And I appreciate you always willing to share your heart, because I know that's not easy when you don't feel accepted. So thank you for all of your emotion and your passion and having a heart for some of the people in the city that some people don't care about. So I appreciate that about you. Rocky, I appreciate you keeping me in check during the board meetings. I always had this harsh voice from the side telling me I forgot to do something. I need to use the gavel. But I think all of you don't know, I met with Rocky before I took over. And the best advice he gave me was to pray over these meetings before we started. Pray for cool heads and open hearts and open minds. And I appreciate, I know we're supposed to keep faith separate from the school board, but I'm glad that the board is filled with people that I can share my faith with. We did a lot of praying before and after meetings, but I appreciate that. And a lot of the calls, me and Rocky talked about our faith, and it gave me the courage to do what's right and to lean on my faith and to have that type of character where I could stand up even though our decisions weren't popular, and it made me a better president, Rocky. So I appreciate that. I hate to see this group broken up because we started in a very contentious place, but over the last year we have moved to a place where we can disagree respectfully, come to a consensus, share our opinions when obviously some of us are still here and here, but we found a way to meet in the middle and work well together. So I'm going to miss you guys. I appreciate what you brought to the board. I wish you would have ran again, but we have 2 new board members coming in, and I hope that they are just as dedicated and focused on the kids as you guys are. So thank you for your service.
And not to say anything like, not to end on you guys for sure, but I was thinking about something and praying about it too, how we have people that resign and it kind of just goes through the report and nobody even sees it or mentions it. And before the year ends, one of the ones, or not resigns, retires, I'm sorry, retires. One of the retirements I was looking at, I didn't realize Gloria Mays had been here for 42 years.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? So I just want to say congratulations to her. our friend Susan that's here visiting us. Congratulations to those that have had a long service with us and choose to return. May they have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So congratulations, Gloria.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Oh, wait. You got something else, John?
Sorry, I hate to end on this note, but it's a positive note if I can sit there and add to it. Tony just confirmed with Mr. Richmond from Cirrus, and he's gonna hold us at the prices that were submitted to you. Do not worry about volatility of the market where it's changed or anything or gone up. So we're set, and he's gonna go ahead and lock in at the prices you did.
Great.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
Thank
nice teamwork, Tony and John. There you go.
I wish everybody a happy holidays. Be safe and enjoy your